do we trust that that version of us is on the other side? And if we don't, it is much, much more difficult to embody that identity. And what I have found in my coaching work, in working with one-on-ones and working with groups, I have dealt with so many humans that come to me with that question of, can I actually become that version of myself? And the prerequisite to becoming is to step into it before it's official, before you're ready, before the calendar says, this is who you are. Hey, listener, welcome to episode number 112 of Listen Up. So today is an extra special Sacred Sunday where I am from, because we get to celebrate Father's Day and the summer solstice. So before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to all the amazing fathers out there, whether you are a biological father or a father figure in someone's life. If you are one of those fathers who shows up profoundly, deeply, courageously, boldly, who is just always there for the child in their lives, no matter the age, who cares so much and is so present, you know who you are. You are deeply valued and important in this life. I myself had an incredible father, and I feel so blessed to have had him in my life. And I saw the impact that he made for me and for others who needed a father figure at different times in their life. And he fulfilled that role in different ways at different times. Whether that father is with you in spirit or in real life now, physically, they are to be cherished either way, recognized, blessed, and celebrated, no matter what. But the person that I think of the most on Father's Day, that I want to celebrate and honor the absolute most, is my husband. You see, my husband, when he became a father, has taught me so much about fatherhood and about being a man who is fiercely devoted to his family as a unit, not just to the kids, but also to his wife. The way that he loves on our family, the way that he loves on me, the way that he shows up in every way, always just fighting for us, wanting to teach us, wanting to protect us, wanting to care for us. His generosity, his spontaneity, his love, his big, huge heart is something that I am so deeply grateful for. I often think to myself, one of the best decisions I have made in my life is giving my children Orlando as a dad. So if he ever listens to this podcast, I hope he knows just how deeply I treasure him and admire him for who he is. I always thought my father was the best father in the entire universe, and he was for me. But honestly, my husband takes the cake, because he is not only the best father for those kids, he's the best husband for his wife. And raising your children under that umbrella of the family unit, something that I didn't have growing up, and that I feel so privileged that I've been able to give to my children, because I have a man who just continues to choose his family over all else in life. For that, I am deeply, deeply grateful. But that's not what today's episode is about. Today, I actually want to talk about the summer solstice, which is today. And if you don't know what the summer solstice is, it's simply the longest day of the year, the day with the shortest night and the longest amount of sunlight hours in the northern hemisphere, because of the way that the sun is tilted and its axis around the earth and all that kind of stuff. But it is officially the mark of the first day of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. And if you know about the work that I do, if you've been following along in this podcast for a while, then you know that I have fallen in love with paying attention to seasons and what those seasons can teach us about our life. When you look at nature, when you look at the weather, when you look at the way that nature works, you can often find such deep correlations to our own human experiences. And I think that it is important to name those correlations because there are so many lessons for us to learn from paying attention to the rhythm of nature. And today is no different. When I woke up thinking about the summer solstice, the thought that I had was, June 21st is the first official day of summer, but I feel like I have been living in summer since Memorial Day weekend. Why? Because a couple of my kids got out of school right before Memorial Day weekend. We went on our first vacation of the summer season on Memorial Day weekend, like our first beach vacation. So, you pull out the beach hat and the sunglasses and the bathing suit, and that gives summer vibes. Our routine started to change at the beginning of June. Then there was no homework. The kids started waking up a little bit later, going to sleep a little bit later. Traffic died down. There was all this evidence that we were in summer. And I began to live and enjoy the rhythm of summer long before today's date, the day that the calendar shows you that we are in summer. And herein lies the moment of clarity as it relates to this. When you are stepping into a new version of yourself, which is called identity work, this is the work that I do with my clients. You are in one season of your life, but you are feeling called into another identity, whether it's because you're ready for more, or you're ready for a change, or you are elevating your current situation, or you want to achieve a certain goal, right? So you're here and you're ready to get to this new version of yourself. That identity work often requires you to start living and enjoying and embodying that identity before you actually get there. So it's like the ask is, can you live in summer before June 21st hits, before the calendar alerts you that it's June 21st? And a very tangible example of this is, let's say that you are a person who wants to make, $100,000 a year. You want to be a six-figure income earner, and you are working toward that goal. Can you embody the thoughts, the habits, the actions of the person who is going to make $100,000 a year before the bank reflects $100,000 in a year? That is the identity work. That is the ask. And I realized it's so easy to step into summer before the calendar year marks the official beginning of summer. And it is so hard to step into that identity of losing the weight you want to lose, making the money you want to make, having the results you want to have, writing the book, running the marathon, repairing the relationship, whatever it is. it is so much harder to step into that identity before it's officially who you are. Why is it so much harder? Why can't we mimic the season? And the answer is very simple. It all boils down to trust. Trust. You see, you know that summer is coming. Doesn't matter what the calendar says. You know that every year we have 4 seasons. After spring comes summer. And you know that after summer comes fall. And oftentimes you are ready to step into that new season before the calendar reflects it. This happens in the reverse order as well. I notice this happens to me every August. At around the last week of summer vacation before school starts, when we're changing the energy, we're getting ready to go back into the routines. We're getting ready to go back to school. We're getting our school supplies. We're wanting to shift the routines, get back into a more of a routine. It's like we've had a fun summer, but we are ready to transition. We start feeling that fall vibe calling us. And if you're in Miami, you start feeling the fall vibe, but the weather does not support it, right? Like you are not ready for long sleeve shirts and hot soup because it is hot as can be here in Miami. But energetically, you're already wanting to step into that fall energy of that fall identity, that fall season. The same thing happens at every single time. It's like you know that the season is coming, and it's like the rhythm of your heart is leading you to that next step. But you trust that it's going to happen. You trust that it's coming. You have certainty that it's a reality. And that's why it's easy to embody it before it's officially here. With identity work, you're not sure. There's fear. There's uncertainty. There's the big question of, is it possible that I can make that kind of money? Is it possible that I can find the love of my life? Is it possible that we can fix this relationship going forward? Is it possible that I can be patient, calm, joyful, thin, strong, creative, capable? Do we trust that that version of us is on the other side? And if we don't, it is much, much more difficult to embody that identity. And what I have found in my coaching work, in working with one-on-ones and working with groups, I have dealt with so many humans that come to me with that question of, can I actually become that version of myself? And the prerequisite to becoming is to step into it before it's official, before you're ready, before the calendar says, this is who you are. That is the prerequisite. It's to build that trust along the way and create the circumstances and look for the evidence that this is the path you're ready to go on. And a lot of times it all goes back to your intuition, your inner knowing, your desire, what you're being called toward. As I was thinking about this concept even further, a funny thought came to my mind, and it was about consumerism and stores. I mean, if there is something that I hate, is when I walk into a store and they have imposed a season on me that I am not ready for. I mean, I'm walking in September looking for a bathing suit for Labor Day weekend, and they're already selling me long sleeve shirts for fall. And I'm like, hey, people, we live in Miami. There is no fall. We're not going to experience fall until February. I'm not going to need that long sleeve jacket until February. Why are you trying to sell this to me now? Or I walk into the store in October and I'm looking for a last minute Halloween costume, and they're trying to sell me Christmas lights. And I'm like, we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. Are you kidding me? Like, give it a minute. And I've always really disliked this about the stores because I feel like they are pressuring me into a season that I'm not ready for. It's like, slow your roll, which is funny because I'm saying this in the same breath as I'm saying that I'm ready for summer before summer comes. Isn't that hilarious? But here's the thing. It's on my terms. I'm ready for summer and I get to embody summer. I don't need anybody to be putting pressure on me on how I should be feeling or or what I should be embodying. It's like, give me a break. Your urgency is not my emergency. I want to step into this when I'm good and ready. But I can appreciate the intention, right? It's like, if we show you evidence of what's coming, can you start participating in that evidence, in that new season? And that is powerful in identity work. That is super powerful in identity work. It is what is required of you. So today, on this summer solstice day, I want you to look at your own life. Notice, have you been in summer for a few weeks before today? Or do you still feel like you're in the winter season or the spring season? Where are you actually in your life? Regardless of what the calendar says. And where do you want to go? What identity work are you stepping into? What is your identity asking of you to move to the next version of yourself? Because if you are at a threshold of something, if you are at a transition in your life, if you are ready for change, if you're ready to manifest different results in your life, you must start creating a different reality now than the one that you are in, and looking for evidence to support that as it leads you into the next season, into the next identity. That's the real work. Now, if this is something that you kind of understand, but you want to go deeper in, or you have more questions about, or you're not really sure how to apply it to your own life, I invite you to do a consult with me. If like there is something calling you and you're attracted to this message, but you're not quite sure what identity work you're in or what your next season is, and you want to help naming it so that you can nurture that identity, that is the work that I do. And it's life-changing. And it allows you to participate in a rhythm in your life that can expand your reality beyond your imagination. So go to the link in my show notes and let's find a time to connect if this is something that's speaking to you. This won't speak to everyone. This is not for everyone. But you know who you are if this message is resonating with you. So that's all I've got for you on this sacred Sunday, the longest day of the year, a beautiful Father's Day, and the official first day of summer. May today be a little moment of reflection for you as you step into a new season to notice where you are and where you want to go. Name the identity that you want to step into and decide to nurture that identity regardless of what the calendar or society or your reality says it is. That is the hardest work and yet the most rewarding work that you can do for yourself in your life. Have a beautiful Sacred Sunday, and I will see you next week. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. It means the absolute world to me. Now, if this show helps you live with a little more intention and you love it, the best way to support it is by following wherever you listen and leaving a rating or a review. That is how new listeners can find us, and it helps more than you can imagine. So until next time, keep noticing the sparks of bliss in your life. Bye for now.